Okay, pins entered in on the board there. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
All right. Okay, tonight we're going to go over presentation help, research paper presentation help. And then let me blow that up there for you a little bit. Research paper presentation help tonight. And then Thursday, remember, research night, no face-to-face class on Thursday. Work on your research paper and hopefully get a good start on that after helping you tonight with your outline. So for anybody else that comes in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on, got a presentation here for this week for your research paper presentation. Also, anything due this week is all extra credit. So I believe there is like review questions, extra credit is the only thing actually if you wanted to do that for 20 points or 40 points, whatever it is I've got here for that. Let's see here, it's 20 points for that. And so you're more than welcome to do that or not. And it's covering on week 12. Also, there is a template here, a PowerPoint template, that when you download this from our course site, it'll give you something to start with. Go ahead and open that up here from download site. Too old. Oh, that's because I'm opening it up with PowerPoint. I don't want that. I'll open it up with Pages. I'll show you what the template looks like here. And you can use it. You don't have to use it. It's just there for you to use. If you aren't real familiar with PowerPoint, this will help you get started on a PowerPoint. Also, you can use Openoffice, which is a free download through openoffice.org that you could use to create your presentation. Must created it in a newer version. And I have Office 2010 on mine, so it's not going to work. So anyway, the template there for you if you have a newer version of Office that lets you open it up. Doesn't let me open on my Mac because I don't have it updated yet. So let's go ahead and start the Prezi, which is just a real quick presentation on helping you get started with your research paper presentation. Okay, so final paper presentation. Again, Thursday you'll be starting to work on your research paper hopefully for this, but the first thing you got to do is create an outline. It's the first thing you got to do. Create an outline, come up with some type of rough outline for your presentation. Real easy way to do that is to just have 4 to 6 points about your paper. An example would be on wireless security. If you're doing it on that, it could be introduction to Wi-Fi security, why I chose this topic. History of Wi-Fi, types of Wi-Fi security, the most secure Wi-Fi security, the future of Wi-Fi, and conclusion. It could be an example of an outline that you could use for research paper presentation. You take it from there and you begin collecting data one outline point at a time. And so you begin with outline number 1, begin collecting data on that point and that point alone. Do not go any further until you've totally collected data for that one point. So force yourself to just stay on that point till you get all the data for that point. So does that make sense before you jump to another one? Force yourself also to not, in all caps, format your text while you're typing or copying and pasting it, because you'll want to do that. Don't do that. You're just copy and pasting data, copy and pasting URLs, getting information. That's it. Don't format. Okay, I'm probably just as bad as you or worse on that. So some of you might have no problem formatting, not formatting, but some of you might. So I just throw that in there. You're just collecting data right now is all you're doing. I suggest copy and pasting your articles from the web. When you do that, you can also, when you do copy and paste an article from the web, just put under the article the source where you found it, like a URL is fine, because you'll put that at the end of your paper here in a second when we go over it. And then save that document as your source. So if it's point 1 you're on, you save it as point 1.doc, point 2.2.doc, so on and so forth. All the way, so you have 12 points or 6 points, you have 6 documents with all of your points covered. All right? Now, you're definitely not going to use all that data, right, that you've compiled together from all your points. So, step 3 is where you begin editing, organizing, and formatting your research. So you create a brand new document, begin to bring in your research from each of your points you've collected. And the way I suggest it is you read everything you've got, kind of skim over it, and then decide what you like, what you don't like, and then bring that over into your new document, and then begin editing that information. Okay? Some of the stuff you bring over will be in your own words. Some of the stuff you bring over will be direct quotes that you brought over. It just depends on the data that you're looking at. If it's a direct quote, just put it, indent it, quote it, tell where the source is from, just so you give, recognition to that quote. But a lot of the stuff you do probably, for each one of these points, you're going to be retyping in your own words, a lot of the stuff. And then you will be having direct quotes ever so often. So you'll bring in data or whatever the case may be, or a table possibly, or whatever. And then you'll organize and format those points. And then this last bullet's important. Pass it on to somebody else and let them proofread it. Okay? You all know folks, I'm guessing, that are better at grammar than you are, like I do. I know people that are better at grammar than I am, so I give it to them to look at and say, can you please tear this up? And they will. And then once they tear it up, you fix it, have them look at it one more time, just for proofing purposes. And so step 4, convert that to a presentation. So you'll take the outline from the very first step and begin converting that to your presentation. And what happens is the outline becomes the title of your slides, each one of your slides. And so, for instance, if you only have 4 to 6 bullet points per slide, or this is a tip basically, only 4 to 6 bullet points per slide should be on each presentation slide. You can add video if it's good quality. I do suggest if you add video to embed the video in the PowerPoint because otherwise it'll stream it and it sometimes doesn't work so great when you're presenting it. And so there are ways you can download videos even from YouTube. If you use Firefox, you can download a YouTube add-on in Firefox to download any YouTube video as an MP4 file and then embed that into your presentation. And that's what I suggest to do. That way you've got a native video in your presentation. Because we all know that the internet here on campus stinks, okay? And it will not work if you've got a streaming video on your presentation. But you probably will find at least maybe one good video that you do want to use and present with, and so just download it and embed it. If you need help with that, let me know. I can help you find plugins, but if you use Firefox and just search for YouTube in the add-ons, it's one of the first ones there that lets you download. Once you install it in Firefox anyway, you go to YouTube website, you then have a button for downloading all videos as a native video. And then what I suggest also on point 4 here, bullet point 4, is add a note at the end of the title on how many slides you think you might need. So like history of Wi-Fi, I might think I might need 3 slides, okay? And on this point, you're not taking all the data from your research paper and putting it on your presentation. You're just taking the highlights of what you think is cool, what you think is interesting, and that's it. Nothing else. And so you might take a page of data and break it down into 10 bullet points, and that's it. 3 or 4 slides, and that's it. And so then you'll flesh out your slides with those bullet points, and then add a conclusion, as always, at the end of your presentation. The Pat, is there any questions? Question. Make sure and ask that at the end of your presentation. If you don't know the answer, say, I don't know the answer. If you do know the answer, say, tell them what the answer is. Or if you have an idea where they can find out the answer, kind of maybe a website, or, say, get with me after the presentation. I'll get your information and send you some websites maybe I found, something like that. So just be honest about whether you know or don't know. And then that will help you also when you're giving your presentation, just to know that it's good to you don't have to know everything when you give a presentation, okay? I'll give you freedom to not have to know everything about that topic when you're up here. And so, because some students freak out and they go, I should know everything about this, I'm researching. You're not going to, okay? So that's not going to be a big thing. But if you don't know it, just say, don't know it. And then step 5, presenting your prep. So presenting prep, you're going to present to yourself first. This sounds weird, but sit down with your laptop and just literally talk through your presentation and time yourself. You have 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes goes by pretty fast in presentation. If you have a 12 slide presentation, that's a good 10 minutes, easy. Okay, you're probably pushing 10 minutes on that. So you might present yourself the first time and it might go 15 minutes. You're like, I need to trim this a little bit. So you might have to take out some bullet points. You might have to take out a slide maybe, or 2 slides. Does that make sense? The one thing you don't want to do is not do this step here. You definitely want to present to yourself. If you don't present to other people, for sure present to yourself. Okay? But if you have folks around you that you can present to them. Will they laugh at you? Probably. That's okay. I get laughed at. That's all right. You get laughed at. You just keep going. And then have them time you as well. And then also, what's good when you're presenting to other people is have them ask you a question if they have any questions. You'll be surprised. People that know nothing about, you don't think know anything about the topic when you're presenting to them during this little test thing, they'll be like, where'd you come up with that question? I don't know. While you were talking, I just thought of it. Oh, well, that's a good question. And it might help you actually with your presentation. You might think of actually including it possibly in your presentation. So it could be brother, sister, wife, girlfriend, whatever that you do. And I've had students tell me that they've presented to other people, and then after the presentation, they're like, they had some doozy questions for me. I didn't know. It helped me because I didn't even think of that. So you might get some good questions from that. And then also there are some podcasts you can watch from finals from prior semesters. If I don't have any in our week folders, I'll put them in there. I think I might. I'll look here in a second. And then you can also use cue cards. Some students like to use this, especially if you've been through speech. They train you how to use cue cards. You can do cue cards 3x5 or 5x7. And you will be presenting in weeks 14 or 15. I think it's A through N last name on 14 and everybody else on 15. And then the research paper is due the night of your final presentation. And you just email me, or in the Dropbox for that week is where you'll put it in there that night that you give that presentation. As far as the order, since we meet Tuesday, Thursday, it's going to be up to you guys. If you fall in the A through N on week 14 and you want to give it, and you're, say, letter, I don't know, K, and you're like, can I go first on Tuesday? Sure. There's no order on Tuesday, Thursday. Whoever wants to come up and give theirs first can give theirs first. So I'm not going alphabetically, on that Tuesday, Thursday, if that makes sense. So if you want, some students like to get it over first. That's fine. If you want to do that, great. Now, I will also, while we're talking about presentations, some of you will want to do a demo maybe of your presentation, and that's great. You can do that. Just let me know beforehand so anything I can do to help you make it better, or maybe give you some resources or whatever, video cameras, whatever I need to do to help make it really cool for you, a good experience, I'll do that. And so these presentations will be recorded like our sessions are in here on Tuesday. So you can watch it over. Again, they'll be in YouTube. but I'm going to create what's called a private link to where only those people that have that link can play it. It will be embedded in weeks 14 and 15 though, so folks can see it afterwards. And I think you guys have access, you'll have access to this course through the summer months, so if you wanted to download it later, you can do that through the plugin I mentioned in Firefox. And so you'll be surprised though, I think there's a couple of you doing the same topic, and you'll hear different stuff from each topic. So students always worried about, well, I'm doing mine on this and so-and-so's doing theirs on that too. Is that going to be a big thing? No, it's not, because you guys will present different items. You'll find different information. Now, you might cross a little bit in some areas, but that's normal. But as far as how you present or what you present, it's going to be totally different. As because you're different people and how you research is going to be different. And so that's it for the information on presenting. I do want to make mention or look at to make sure I've got those links in here on weeks 14 and 15. If I don't, I'll put them in there. Yeah, I do. I got one out there already for couple from last semester. Good presentations there. And then what I'll do also is I will put in the folder that says presentations. I'll get rid of the old ones that are in here, which there's a number of them in here from last semester that you guys can look at how students did it. And I'll upload your presentations in there, so people will have a physical copy of your presentation, plus they'll be able to watch the podcast as well later on. Okay, be able to do both. And you'll get, there's some good information even on the ones that were done last semester, and you guys will have the same type of information, just as good information. Now, you might wonder on one of these, it says passwordmanagers.odp. That is the Openoffice format, which if you create your PowerPoint in Openoffice, I do have Openoffice on my Mac, and I can play that, no problem. So because it doesn't cost anything, somebody might not have, paid the $100 for Microsoft Office on your laptop or desktop. And if you're not familiar with Openoffice, let me just real quickly show you the website where you guys can download it. I use it all the time still. And the only reason I promote it is because you don't need to spend $100 on Office. Nothing wrong with Office, just you don't need to spend $100 on it. This has says I want to download Openoffice right here. When you click on this link, it gives you it'll determine what OS you're running. Like I'm running Mac, so it gives me direct OS for the Mac OS Intel file. But if you're running PC, it'll direct you to the PC download. And once you install it, you'll have the ability to create and edit Word, Excel, PowerPoint files within your computer if you don't already have something to do that with. So and what's great about it is you can actually create and save it as even though this student uploaded an ODP, they saved it as the extension for Openoffice PowerPoint. You can save it as a PowerPoint file, a Microsoft Office PowerPoint file. And that's what I suggest to do. So even though you're creating it in Openoffice, you can save it as a PowerPoint file as well. That way, if not only can I play it, which I have Openoffice on mine, but all the students that downloaded this could play it as well. Because some people might not have Openoffice on their computer. Does that make sense? So if you do use Openoffice, I do suggest converting it or saving it as a PowerPoint. And I think it now has on there like PowerPoint 2010, if I'm not mistaken. It lets you save it as that version. So any questions on your outline, research paper, or presentation? Be coming up here pretty quick. We've got a few more weeks before that. So Thursday, no class, research paper prep. And hopefully by what I'd like you to accomplish on Thursday, if nothing else, get your outline created on Thursday and begin researching point 1 and 2 possibly. Point 1 for sure by Thursday. Like get a good start on it. So for sure get your outline created and get fleshed out the research for point 1 and possibly point 2. And then next week is week 12. We'll be going over in class for our lab. We'll be doing Kubuntu. You'll be getting a DVD next week with Kubuntu, the newest version of Kubuntu on it. And then also, if you don't already have downloaded on your PC at home, download Virtual PC 2007, which is a free download to install virtual clients, virtual operating systems on your machines. Yes?
Would Oracle's Virtual PC work just fine?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should work fine. I don't have the steps for that for you, but it will work fine on creating. It will work fine on creating virtual OSs.
Okay.
I just in class I don't go over those steps. I just use Virtual PC. And then week 13, the lab is DriveLook. This one's where this app called DriveLook actually indexes your hard drive, and it finds every single word ever written to that hard drive, and you can search those words. So whether it be pictures, whether it be files, doesn't matter, emails, text messages, Facebook, it'll find those words on the hard drive. So this is used for forensic purposes for, like, say, they're wanting to, most IT departments will scan folks' computers once a year, and then they'll search for certain words in that scan. So whether it be words like confidential, words like pornography words they'll look for, pornographic type of words they'll look for, because it doesn't find pictures, but it finds words. And then once it finds those words that they're looking for, then they can take other programs to then find the actual data. Because we've already went over this, but when folks delete stuff from or they think they delete files from their computer, and even from the recycle bin, you can still find those files and those words. And that's what this program shows you. It's actually originally created on a floppy disk, and I have it as a download version for us to use, but it's fairly much the same program as it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that was put on floppy disk. It's a very small app. It's only under 2 megs in size, but it works really great. And so we'll do that one. And we will be using on week 13 a virtual floppy download, because the file that we're using is a file that needs to look like a floppy disk. And so there is such thing as a virtual floppy that you can download and actually see a letter A drive on your computer, and we'll be using that. And we'll talk about such things like low-level formatting that week, recovering files. This is a great app, by the way. If you ever lose files, it's a free one called Recuva. We'll be going over, RECUVA. And then we'll be talking about some extra stuff like ESIS, which helps you with backing up, restoring data. And so that's week 13. And then weeks 14 and 15 is your presentations, and that wraps up the semester. So we're winding down fairly quick here. So if you do have any questions on your research paper presentation as you guys leave tonight, come up and see me. Or Thursday, if you have questions, you can email me. I'd be more glad to help you. And that's all I've got tonight. So have a great day, rest of the day, and great Thursday, and definitely get your outline created and get that point 1 fleshed out, and hopefully point 2 fleshed out on your research paper. So if you actually allot the time we use in the class from 4:30 to 5:30 usually just for research or just for creating that outline, you should be able to knock it out in an hour's time, hopefully, on Thursday, and get it done, and then start researching and collecting your data. So any questions? All right, see you next week.